The last entry, she knew her killer. The diary smelled of old paper and something faintly metallic, blood, maybe. Jake hadn't meant to find it. He'd only been clearing out the abandoned house next door, its windows boarded up, its floors creaking with secrets. But there, beneath a loose floorboard in what must have been a teenage girl's bedroom, was the journal. The first pages were ordinary enough: school drama, crushes, the mundane frustrations of a 17-year-old named Emily. But then, the tone shifted. October 12th, I keep seeing him outside my window. Mom says it's just my imagination, but I know he's real. He watches me. Always at night. Jake's fingers trembled as he turned the pages. The entries grew frantic, the ink smudged in places, from tears, maybe. October 29th, he left a note in my locker today. It said, "I love the way you scream. The police won't do anything. They think I'm making it up." And then, the final entry. November 1st, it's him. I know it's him. If something happens to me, it's, The sentence ended abruptly. Below it, in a jagged, unnatural scrawl, nothing like Emily's neat handwriting, were two more words. Too late. Jake's breath caught. He flipped through the rest of the diary, but the pages were blank. Then, from somewhere in the empty house, a floorboard creaked. Slow. Deliberate. Like someone was walking toward him. Jake's head snapped up. The room was freezing now, his breath fogging in the air. And then, a whisper, so close it brushed against his ear. You shouldn't have read that. The diary fell from his hands. When the police found Jake the next day, he was sitting in the middle of the room, staring at the wall. His lips moved silently, repeating the same phrase over and over. Too late. Too late. Too late. The diary was gone. But on the floor, in fresh, wet letters, as if written by an unseen hand, were two words. Your turn. The hidden pages, a ritual gone wrong. The diary's spine cracked as Sarah pried it open, its pages yellowed with age. She'd found it tucked behind a loose brick in the basement of her new apartment, a relic left behind by the previous tenant, a college student named Leah who had vanished 6 months earlier. At first, the entries were typical: class schedules, doodles, late-night study sessions. But then Sarah reached that page. March 15th, we did it tonight. The Three Whispers Ritual. Amanda brought the candles, Jess drew the symbols, and I read the words. It was supposed to be a joke, but something answered. Sarah's fingers traced the shaky handwriting. The next entry was worse. March 17th, we can't stop hearing them, the whispers. Always 3 at a time, always just out of sight. Jess swears she saw a man standing in her closet last night. No face. Just shadows. A cold draft snaked through the basement. Sarah told herself it was just the old pipes. She turned the page. March 19th, Amanda is gone. She texted, "They're in the walls," and then nothing. Police say she ran away. Liars. I hear them too now. 3 whispers. Always 3. Sarah's breath hitched. The words blurred as her vision swam. That's when she heard it. A hiss. Not from the diary. From the wall behind her. 3 distinct whispers, layered over each other, slithering through the cracks. Found you. Sarah spun around. The basement light flickered, casting long, grasping shadows across the concrete. For a heartbeat, she thought she saw something move in the corner, a tall, jagged silhouette where no shadow should be. The diary slipped from her hands, landing open on the final entry. Asterisk March 21st, they're coming. I can't, asterisk. The rest was scribbled out. Above it, in fresh, inky letters that hadn't been there before, a new message gleamed. Asterisk, welcome to the ritual, Sarah. Asterisk. The light bulb shattered. In the darkness, 3 voices whispered her name. The cursed diary, every owner dies. The antique shop smelled of dust and forgotten things when Liam first saw the diary. Bound in cracked leather with a tarnished lock, it called to him from beneath a stack of yellowed newspapers. The shopkeeper hesitated before selling it, his wrinkled fingers lingering a moment too long on the cover. That night, under the flickering glow of his desk lamp, Liam pried open the lock. The first page bore a single inscription in faded ink. Asterisk, property of Eleanor Grayson, 1923. May God forgive me. Asterisk. As Liam turned the pages, a pattern emerged. Each owner had added their own entries before the diary changed hands. A college student in 1954 wrote of nightmares about the woman with no eyes. A musician in 1987 scribbled frantic notes about the whispers in the walls before the entries stopped mid-sentence. His blood turned to ice when he reached the most recent edition. Asterisk Megan Teller, 2021. If you're reading this, you're next. It comes at, asterisk. The sentence ended in a jagged ink streak, as if the writer had been yanked away mid-word. A floorboard creaked behind him. Liam spun around, his chair screeching against hardwood. His empty bedroom stared back, shadows pooling in the corners. He told himself it was just the old house settling, until he noticed his breath fogging in the suddenly frigid air. The diary flipped open on its own, pages rustling like dry leaves until it landed on a blank sheet. Ink bubbled up from the paper, forming fresh words before his widening eyes. Asterisk Liam Carter, 2023. You shouldn't have opened me. Asterisk. Something cold brushed the back of his neck. In the mirror across the room, a pale figure stood behind Liam, a woman in a rotting 1920s dress, her empty eye sockets leaking black tears. Her skeletal fingers reached for his shoulders as the diary's pages burst into flames. The last thing Liam saw before screaming was the woman's lipless mouth forming 3 silent words. Asterisk, number 27. Asterisk. When firefighters pulled Liam's body from the ashes the next morning, they found the diary untouched in the center of the charred room, its new entry glistening with wet ink. Asterisk, property available. Inquire within. Asterisk. The mirror writing, messages from beyond? The diary felt wrong in Emma's hands from the moment she pulled it from the thrift store bin. Its cover was warm, too warm, like living flesh. The first dozen pages contained typical teenage musings from a girl named Clara, dated 1997. But halfway through, the entries changed. Emma nearly dropped the book when she saw them. Entire pages written backward. Holding her makeup mirror to the text, the inverted words resolved into frantic script. Asterisk, they think I jumped from the bridge, but he pushed me. Look for the red scarf in the willow tree. Tell my mother I didn't, asterisk. The next backward entry stopped mid-sentence. Emma's reflection in the mirror flickered, just for a second, her image replaced by a gaunt girl with waterlogged hair. Then came the impossible part. A backward entry dated last Tuesday described Emma's own kitchen in perfect detail. Asterisk, you'll drop the blue coffee mug at 7:43 a.m. The handle will break in exactly 3 pieces. Asterisk. She'd done exactly that yesterday morning. Now the mirror showed two reflections, Emma's wide-eyed face and, just behind her shoulder, Clara's bloated corpse reaching forward. The dead girl's lips moved in sync with words appearing in the diary. Check tomorrow's weather. With shaking hands, Emma flipped to a backward page dated tomorrow. The mirror revealed. 3:17 p.m. Oak Street Bridge. You'll see my scarf fluttering from the railing. When you reach for it, The bathroom light exploded. In the sudden dark, Emma felt icy fingers close around her wrist as the diary's final message scrawled itself across the last page in real time. Too late. He's behind you. The last thing Emma saw before the diary slammed shut was her own reflection screaming, and the glint of a red scarf wrapped around something moving in the shadows behind her. The missing year, a different person wrote it. The diary smelled of funeral flowers when Professor Alden found it in the estate sale. Belonging to a former student named Hannah, its pages offered a heartbreaking glimpse into the bright teenager's life, until June 14, 2018. That was the last normal entry. Then came the missing year. When the entries resumed in July 2019, something was wrong. The handwriting was almost perfect, but not quite. The loops on the vowels were tighter. The T's lacked Hannah's characteristic slant. Small differences only a graphologist would notice. But the contents chilled Alden to his core. July 3, 2019, the body remembers what the mind forgets. I dream of cold earth and roots growing through my ribcage. When I wake, my sheets smell of damp soil. Alden's forensic training kicked in. He compared samples, measured letter angles, analyzed pressure points. The results made his hands shake. This wasn't Hannah writing. The medical examiner's report confirmed it. Hannah had been buried in Potter's Field since April 2019. 3 months before the new entries began. That night, Alden woke to the sound of scratching at his study door. The diary lay open on his desk, a fresh entry glowing wet in moonlight. You're right, Professor. She's gone. But I'm here now. Let me in. The door handle turned. Slowly. From the inside.